Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Inside Gamer. Welcome to my review of the Aerosoft truck and bus wheel system. So this system came out a few weeks back and it is currently sitting at a price of €413.44 on the Aerosoft website. I thought we'd do a little bit of an unboxing review here today, and what we're going to do, we're going to see how it sets up with 3 different games. We're going to look at Omsi 2, the bus, and a little bit of ETS, just to see how the wheel sets up, how easy it is, how does it configure, how does it feel, how does it work, is it working, etc., and a few other bits and pieces. So the wheel itself is not too bad. It's made of quite nice material. It actually feels quite nice on the outside. I'm not a big fan of these turning knob things. Some people really like these things. For me, I don't. I don't know if there's a way we can take it off. I think there's just a little screw there and it'll probably just unscrew. For me, I'd probably take this off. I don't really like that myself, but some people will really like that. I mean, it does kind of make your life easy. Some people, when they drive long distance in real life, do like having these on their wheels. I am just not particularly that keen. So the wheel itself is compatible with a big list of games. Should be Euro Truck Simulator 2, American Truck Simulator, Heavy Cargo, the Truck Simulator, On the Road, Omsi 2, Tourist Bus Simulator, Fern Bus Simulator, the Bus, Truck and Logistics Simulator, and lots more. So I picked 3 of them, 3 of the main ones I think that people will play the most, which are the Bus, Omsi 2, and Euro Truck Simulator. Now, it does have a few other features. So there's a 40cm center suspended steering wheel. As you can see, it is quite large on my desk. It is pretty large. I also have the gearbox here next to us. I've got on another camera. When we do the reviews, I'll be using both of these things. It does do a 1080 steering wheel angle, so it's got a huge steering wheel angle, just like real life, which is nice. I like that. As you can hear it though, this already is the first thing I'm not keen on. It is very noisy. Even when it's in game and it's turned on, I've noticed it's still very noisy. So for someone like myself who's a streamer, I'm not sure if I would be able to get on with this wheel. Now, obviously, I'm going to do a bit more testing, but it's very noisy with the microphone. You guys picking that up. But we'll see. Anyways, it's got ultra-realistic force feedback. I haven't really felt much of that in any of the games that I play. Realistically, maybe on the ETS we'll find out a bit more. It has lots of buttons. It's got 4 action buttons, 2 menu buttons. It's got a directional turn signal level. Now, these are some of the things that I do really like. Here you can see it's got like the proper indicator stalks here, and they feel pretty good. And if you turn the wheel, so if we turn the indicator on and you turn the wheel, you hear that click? That means it will auto center. There you go, it's auto centered for you. And then you've got the retarder on this side as well, just like real life buses and trucks. The D-pad here feels quite nice. It's got this nice kind of smooth touch sensitive one here as well, which is quite nice. So it's also got an 8 directional D-pad, 4 action buttons, 2 menu buttons, 4 direction turn signal levers with 3 light levels and push buttons. Also just down here, this twists, as you can see here, for your lights, where you can program it for your lights if you wish. DC power connection for force feedback feature. It's got a slot for the pedals, metal clamps for desk mounting, which it has got, which actually are quite nice. They're pretty sturdy. And then everything else just runs off kind of USB cables. Also the gear stick. The gear stick is another item that comes with this. This is probably the part I like the most. It's got some nice little buttons here. You can see they go up like if you're opening and closing doors. If you're doing the trucks, it's got the gears here, 1 to 6. But one thing, if you listen again, it's very clunky. Now, to me, it's not great. Very clunky, but it does have high-low range. It's got a switch here on the front, high-low range. So when you go from 1 to 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., just like in trucks. Now, some trucks, sometimes it's a case of, you know, you got to go down the range this way, but let's not worry about that too much. All the buttons here, they all light up. Most of them are programmable to most of the games. Now, Omsi's the one that's a little bit iffy, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. So it's got 12 small and 2 big programmable action buttons with this, with background lights. H shifter with sequential shift mode, which I said it's got the splitter here for high, low. Mounting points, again, the mounting point's pretty good. I was a bit worried. I thought it might be a bit flimsy because it's just on the top here. It fits okay. Now for my desk, because my desk has a bit of an insert cut, it doesn't fit very well. I had to run 2 cameras, and this was a bit of a pain to get this to kind of sit nicely. But it's okay. Again, it is height adjustable desk with metal brackets. The metal brackets do change a little bit, so you can maneuver it a little bit more. And then you got the pedals itself, which are underneath. Nothing too special about them. The pedals for me are probably the thing that feels the cheapest of all of it. They got 3 pedals. You got the clutch, you got the brake and accelerator. The clutch and accelerator, there's no bite or give on them, especially the clutch. It's just they feel exactly the same. Now there is a little bit of pressure on the brake pedal. and that's fine. That's kind of all you really want, I suppose. But look, overall, I actually like the look of it. I really do. I just wish some of the qualities were a little bit better. The other thing I do like as well, it's got a horn button. You see here? This is a button here for a horn, so it actually feels like a real horn. I do like that as well. And the actual wheel itself, I don't mind it being so big on the desk. I could live with it being so big, but it's just all the noises, and it just, something's just not quite adding up to me. You'd think for the price that you're paying, you really want some quality. That PR279 racing wheel that I covered last week, it was smooth as anything. It was silent with its force feedback. Just unfortunately, there was a few dead zones and things, but for that wheel, you weren't paying that much. You'd live with what you got. This is big money. Now, are we paying for the gimmick that it's just a really large wheel and we get this button box here? I'm not sure. I mean, we're going to work out a bit more as we go through the video. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a very small clip of just unboxing, be about 1 minute or so, just pulling out of the box, what you get in the box. And then we're going to jump into Omsi, the bus, and American Truck Simulator or European Truck Simulator, just to see how easy the wheel is to program, set up, and do a little bit of driving with it. Okay guys, so welcome to Omsi 2. So Omsi 2, you're going to get, when you set up your wheel, so basically there is no software with the Aerosoft wheel, which was quite surprising to me. Once you plug it into Windows, you have to use the Windows game controller. So basically you have to program two things, and you can see there you got the Truck Simulator gear and the Truck Simulator wheel. You need to set them both up. This is obviously the gear, this is obviously the wheel. And again, you can see here we can set them up quite simply. You go through the wheel, you can see the settings, you can auto config. It's not too bad. Then with the buttons, again, you just kind of have to go through your own buttons, see what you kind of want, as you can see here, like these. The only thing that doesn't work, there's a start-stop button underneath here. Can't get this to configure. It doesn't seem to pick it up as a real button, and that seems to be the case with some of the buttons here for Omsi 2. Now, Omsi 2 is a bit of an older game, so we can let it off. But being Aerosoft, you'd kind of like to hope that they made sure it worked really, really well with Omsi. But this is what it is. And again, if you want to go to the gear itself, you'll have to go down to the gear again. If you want to set up what you might want to set, like park and brake on and off, you've got your door buttons here, front door, first door, second door. You can program these to be your gears if you really want them to be your gears. That's absolutely fine as well. That's completely up to you. Okay, so welcome into the simulator itself. You can see here we just picked up any bus in Scunthorpe, doesn't really matter. I'm not going to drive a route. I just want to kind of show you all the buttons that they're working. As you can see, the wheel works quite well. Now, because the wheel has a bigger circle diameter of the 1080 instead of the 900, it does seem like it's out of sync with the actual main bus wheel itself. But everything else here is working. So you got the indicators here. There you go. all that kind of thing. Your parking buttons are down here. Now you do have to double tap them buttons for some reasons, like they have to turn on and off. Door 1 to open, and then the other button to close them. There's 2 red buttons here, and it's hard to see them with the gear stick kind of in the way, but they are there. We just recenter our vision here. We'll just have a little drive down the road just to see how it feels. So we should be in drive. Parking brake is still on. There you go. I said I wasn't going to use the knob thing, but I'm going to use it anyways here. To be fair, it feels absolutely fine. The brake will need a little bit of getting used to. Doesn't travel too far. And we can use this as our flasher here, look. Just like you would in real life. Turn on our lights, turn off our lights. But the horn button's working absolutely fine. I think the wheel itself is absolutely fine. Say if you're just driving yourself. I'm off the map here now. But for me, being a streamer, that noise is going to annoy a lot of you. It is a very noisy wheel. And I'd say out of all the games, this was the game that was hardest to kind of program all the buttons, because like I said, the buttons aren't fully working. I don't know which way around we're supposed to go. I just kind of wanted to test all the buttons. But there doesn't seem to be any dead zones, which is nice. So there's no dead zones. It's just the wheel will turn a little bit more because there's no way to configure this to turn it down to a 900 wheel, which would be nice. Again, I think Aerosoft, I don't know why they don't have their own software. I think if they had their own software where we could fine-tune these things, it would make things so much better. And I think they can make this wheel be really good in that sense. But as it currently is, you can't, and you've got to make do with what we got. Like I said, we're not driving any particular route. I just wanted to kind of show you what they feel like and what they look like in game. We can slam on the handbrake, look. Hazards. Hazards are working there. Okay, so for Omsi, there's absolutely no problem at all. It will work. There's a little bit of configuring to do, a little bit of playing around with buttons, but that's just no different to Omsi. So it will work for this. If a lot of people that I know or watch my channel will probably would rather this for Omsi and probably ETS the most. So what we will now do is we will turn over to the bus and we'll see how easy it is to set up on the bus and see what it feels like and how it behaves. Okay, so we're now in the bus. Now the bus seems to work really well, this wheel. It's very easy to configure. You go into the settings again. They're in 2 options. You've got the truck simulator on for the wheel, and then you've got the gear device, of course, which is here. And again, you can go through all these kind of buttons to set them up. You could set up even more than I've got now. There are some extra ones and stuff here if you wish. But for the bus, I'll just put on the basic ones that you kind of need. And then you can just auto configure it with the device assistant to get most of this stuff up and running and working the way you want it to work. So again, really easy for the bus, really nice. I like that when it's kind of plug and play. But what we do, we go into the simulator and actually see what it feels like in the bus. Okay guys, so welcome to the bus. So it's very simple to set it up. We're now in the game. and will work pretty well out of the bat. As you can see here, the wheel actually looks a lot smoother with this one than it did with Omsi. It's nearly symmetrical, which is really nice. See, that's all going to move through there pretty well. The other good thing about this is the start stop button here works for the engine really well. The retarder's working as well, and obviously all the indicators and lights, etc. as you wish. Over here then on the button box, if you want to go into, say, drive, you can use this for your gears like so. So there you go, that's now into neutral. Now it's in reverse, back into neutral, and back into drive itself. And as well as that, the button box is working nicely. We can close the doors there. Now, if those lights, hazards, parking brake, if you wish to use it. So yeah, look, it all works out of the box pretty well with the bus. I think the wheel was mainly made for the bus, in fact. So what we'll do, let's just drive forward. We'll take our hazards off it, and we'll just go around the car park here just to see how it all kind of feels. I'd say that on tourist bus and firm bus, this wheel would work really nicely with as well. Again, the brake pedal doesn't have too far to travel, so you're going to have to kind of get used to that so you don't go too hard. But other than that, everything's working really nice with the bus. Again, I think the biggest drawbacks with the wheel itself is still the noise and maybe some of the build quality with some of the parts with that noise. But like I said, if you're not streaming, it's not really a big deal. And it wouldn't bother me... Oh, we just crashed it. It wouldn't bother me too much. If it was just like myself at home and I just wanted to have a bit of a play on the game. Seems to be the more speed that we pick up, their wheel doesn't turn as much. Bit of speed thing, but yeah, and there we go. So for the bus, the wheel works really well, easy to set up. My only drawbacks again still are the build quality of the noises and stuff. Like, you can hear that quite a lot now if you say you're playing ETS now and we're shifting through the gears. But I do like having these options of all these other buttons compared to like when you normally just have your your steering wheel. We're configuring as many buttons as we can, or we're part using the keyboard and stuff. I like the idea of these things. So what we'll do now is we'll go over to American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator. We'll just see how easy it is to configure and see how it feels with the trucks. And finally, we're now on to Euro Truck Simulator 2. Now, the setup wizard that Euro Truck has built in is really good. You can set the wheel to 900 degrees. As you can see here, it's working pretty nicely. Force feedback is working a little bit. It doesn't change any of the kind of sounds. I was hoping that maybe it might change some of the sounds, the belts and stuff, but it's still quite a noisy wheel. There is a little bit of input lag there now as well. You can just see it as it kind of comes round. Just a little bit, very little bit. Okay, but yeah, we can program all the buttons on the wheel. They're all working. You see here, we can turn on the engine. Okay, yep, you can throw it into gear without the clutch, which is always a good thing. Okay, that's reverse. For some reason that's 2 instead of 1. That's 4. Okay, I've set up my gears a bit weird too. Right, there you go, now into 1. Okay, so you can start with the kind of how you want to set your gears up. 1 is fine here for me. We can let off the clutch. However, we're getting out of this place. There you go, we're going to 6th gear here, we're more than fine in 6. For some reason I've missed out a slot on the old gears. But other than that, everything is programmed the way you want it to be. Okay, so you can stall it with the clutch. Now the clutch pedal is probably the biggest issue for me. Is it feels very much like the accelerator. There's no bite to it. So you have to make sure you give it some beans if you're gonna do that. And park and brake key all works, all works fine. We'll take it out into neutral there. So there we go. So look, the wheel works really well with all the kind of programs like it says it's going to do. Easy to set up, not too bad. The gears, you just have to set them up how you want them, because you can do obviously the H shifting, you can do sequential gearing. That's the one thing about this that is pretty nice. You can do both, all with the you got the 2 switches here on the side to go up and between your gears, depending on how you like to do it. Love the little button box things. Overall, I actually like the look of the wheel. I like the feel of the wheel. I just really can't get over the noise. It is way, way, way too noisy. And it is very large. One thing you got to take in mind, if you've got a big desk space, it's fine. As you see here, I'm like looking over my screen. I actually have to kind of like look up to see my screen. It is very, very big. So it's something that you'd have to take into consideration if you are going to purchase this. And remember, if you're a streamer or so, unless your microphone can be put away, or maybe you can work on your filters, it's a very noisy item. Very, very noisy item. But other than that, I actually like the build of it. I think the build of it's kind of fun. I like the metal clamps. Normally we get plastic ones. The horn is a good thing. Love having the indicator stalks instead of having to use the flappy panels. There's so many good things, but there are also some negatives as well, of course. So look, if you guys are interested in buying this, obviously it'd be up to you. For me, I just wouldn't be able to get on with it with streaming, with the noises and stuff. It's all just a bit too noisy for me. But look, I'm sure it'll suit some of you quite a lot. If, like I said, you're at home, you're not a streamer, and you just want to play these kind of games, it is a lovely little wheel. Is quite high on the price range though. That's one thing, especially when you got brands like Hori out there. And you know, the G920s, of course, some of the best wheels that have ever been made for simulation gaming. But yeah, look, if you did enjoy this today, let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new, hit the like button. Other than that, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.